Hello my little Pinky pals, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Today we're going to look at a little coquette style drawing of a girl, and we're going to just kind of talk about lineless style and how I go about doing my art style, how I go about coloring it. So you always want to start with a sketch. I already did that, and I didn't really focus on that because that's not the point of the video. But you always want to start with a sketch. Optionally, you can also do a detailed sketch or like a second kind of redo of the sketch. I already did that with mine, so mine was refined maybe a little bit more than normal. It just kind of depends on how I feel, to be honest. So I've done that, and then we're just working on it. So the refined sketch is optional, but I do like doing it. Next, we're going to add our base colors in. It is important that you first put your sketch layer on top of your colors. It just makes it easier really to see everything. And then whenever you're filling in all of your base colors, I always make sure that I have them on different layers depending on where they are in the sketch. So if they're above the skin, then I'll put it above. If they're below, they're below. I just find this is easier whenever I'm going to do any kind of shading, because then I can just shade on the layer above the area I want to shade on, and I don't have to worry about it going over onto other areas. It's just easier for me, and I think it just helps a little bit. So I put my sketch above, and then I just put in all of the base colors, and it is literally all it is. I'm not very clean, I guess, with it. It's not that I'm messy. I don't like purposely go out of the lines or anything like that, but I'm definitely not really, very careful about what I'm doing, I guess. Especially if I know a certain area is going to go under another area or will be hidden later on. So I just kind of block it in as best as I can. And depending on how neat it needs to be, that changes up. Then I always make sure that when I'm putting in my base colors, I do, like I said, layers. So, you wanna make sure you got your layers in there. And then when I go to do shading, the important thing for me, especially in something like this, which I did a lot of, I try to use the same color so that you can see how like the same tones and the same colors can be, how to kind of separate them. And you do that, or at least I do that, one of two ways. I either use shading, or I use texture, or a mixture of both. So with the dress especially, I use the shading, but I also use the texture of the lines that are up and down. I kind of wanted it to have like a chiffon kind of a style, I think is what it's called. I don't know, I'm not a dress person. I mean, I am a dress person, but I don't know like fabric. So I wanted it to have a certain look, and I created that by drawing a whole bunch of lines on it. So there's texture in that aspect, but then also in the brush that I'm using. When I do my digital art, when I want a texture, or I want it to have that kind of depth to it, I usually use a sketching pencil. I believe it's the 6B, or I don't even know, to be honest. It's a Procreate. It just comes with Procreate. It's just the standard whatever it is. I think it is the 6B pencil, and I have modified it a little bit, and then I also just use the studio pen for my blocking in. So I do that. I like to have them all on different layers, because then I can just do like a clipping mask and I don't have to worry too much about it. With this little coquette girl, I thought it would be cute to have the like flowers at the bottom, and then I wanted to do like a strand of pearls around her. I don't know. After I'd done this, I kind of got to the point where I was like, oh, I could have done other things and had different ideas. And I kind of tested it out here to see, like, what do the pearls look like? Would it be better like this? Would it be better like that? And then I realized I was making them way too big, so I was like, I'll come back to that. But yeah, so each element will be on its own layer, and then I will shade based on that. So it's really easy to shade in that way, because then you can go on the layer below it, do a clipping mask, shade it, and you can be somewhat messy about it as well, because you don't have to worry about it going on the layers on top. And I kind of like that sketchy look, so that's kind of what I do a lot lately. And then it just makes it easier for me. Really, I'm just lazy is kind of the way it happens to be, and it just works out for me that way. The other thing that I will do too is, while I am shading, even when I'm just blocking in, anytime that I'm doing any kind of coloring, even though I have the sketch layer on top, I will turn it on and off every now and again so that I can see where I am, what I'm doing, how it looks without. I've done it before where I haven't taken the sketch layer off at all through the whole process, and then I get to the end and I'm like, oh, I have to take the sketch layer off, and I don't know what I did, but it turned out horrible. So I make sure to always kind of flip it on, flip it off here and there to make sure that it always looks good while I'm going through it. I like to check in on myself once in a while, you know? So I'll do that often as well, and you will see me kind of flip back and forth. Even things that I'm like, I don't know if I like this or not. For coloring even, I will look at it and I'll turn it on or off and just kind of see whether or not I like it. So you'll see that often with the sketch layer as well. And then once you get to the point where you really can't fit any more contrast in with your shading and you can't get any more contrast in with your texture, then you're going to add in line art. So it's best to do this. I mean, you can do as much or as little as you like. It really doesn't matter. But because it is lineless, you want to keep it on the inside of the art and not on the outside of it. So you will add it in there as much or as little as you like. It really doesn't matter, but you're going to focus on the areas that you can't see that differentiation, or where you just stylistically like it. So for like my roses, I did line art in the middle of those, and I would say that's more line art than coloring. And I also tend to build up on it, so you will see me, especially with these roses, like I do some of them and then I go back and I'll even like merge the layers, and then I will go back and I'll put them in again. And that's the other thing too, the layer properties are really fun to play with. I use them a lot. I'm trying to think of the ones that I like the most. I forget the name of them, but I use the layers a lot. Let me see if I can grab my iPad here so I can pull it up here. I feel like the one is like maybe modify. No, that's not right. Let's see. So if you click on the little thing here, multiply. I use multiply a lot, and I use color burn a lot, and screen a lot. So those are the three that I use: multiply, color burn, and screen. I use those fairly often. And then I'll change the opacity and I'll play around with it. So you'll see me come back, especially these roses, because I found that they were just, it needs to have like some kind of contrast, like more contrast, I guess. It just wasn't enough for me. And I did want this to be kind of pastel-y and light and just cute and stuff. But you still need to have some kind of contrast to get the depth. So you do see me go back every now and again, and I use multiply a lot instead of like finding a new color, I guess. I just find it easier. The color works, and I like the look of it, so that's what I do. And then once that's done, I would say, like I went over it again and again and again. And it's one of those things too where the inner line art can depend on style or what you need to have done, like what you need to make it look right. So things to think about whenever you're doing it. I love to have like these sketchy, really loose lines. I've really gotten, when I first started doing digital art, I really liked the perfection of it. And as I've been doing it, I've kind of come away from that, I guess. And I'm more and more, I like the imperfection of it. I think that's why I like traditional art still so much more, really. Just to look at, I think it's more interesting because of those kind of errors and things like that. And I like that about my digital art. So I do use the pencil a lot, and I like that sketchy vibe, and I like the kind of messiness of it. And so, I mean, you do see that. I see it anyway with my own art. I think that I'm getting that through quite a bit more. And obviously pink is pink is my color. It's my signature color. And I love pink. So I use pink a lot. And I actually will use it a lot, even as an overlay. I will, just to get an extra texture, which I'll show you at the end. But what I do is I'll do a whole new, I'll duplicate the image essentially, because I don't want to lose out on all the layers. Even though you see me, I merge layers like crazy. I know some people are like, oh my god, what are you doing? But I do merge layers like crazy, and I'm just not that picky about it. But I don't want to lose all of that either, because I do like to recolor and things like that sometimes. So what I'll do is I'll duplicate the whole image, and then I will flatten the image, and then I will do like an overlay, and I'll do the pastel, I think it is, the pastel, and I will use that, and I'll just cover the whole. I won't cover it thickly because I do want the texture to come through, so I don't like solid, but I will just brush it over top, and then I'll do a clipping mask. And then for this one I did color burn, and I thought it came out really, really cool. I really like the look of it, but it's one of those things where I think it's something that I just do. I don't know if other people do it or not. I just find that it always kind of gives my art the pink color I'm looking for. I don't know how to describe it, but you'll see at the end it's just like a punch more pink, if that makes sense. And so I do that a lot, and that adds like another kind of like depth to it, as well as more texture, which I really enjoy. So that's how I do it. And then if I had more time, I guess maybe I would have worked on this. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I was going to say maybe I would have worked on it a little bit slower or better, but this took me about 3 hours, and I do think I was quite messy with it, but I also just like the way it turned out. And I'm finding more and more messy. I used to do stuff where it would take me, like some of my fairy stuff, which it took me hours and hours, like days, and it shows, I think, in that. I think it does. I think it does show that I spent a lot more time on some of those pieces than others. But I'm also just really enjoying this kind of quick, sketchy kind of vibe. I don't know what it is. I don't know what my style is anymore. It's just mine. I just like it the way it is. But I really, really enjoyed doing this whole video, really. I love doing this little girl. I thought she turned out really cute. I love the coquette style, and I've been hearing a lot about it lately, and I kind of was just like, you know what, that's what I'm gonna do. And I think it turned out really well. And I will say, it's been so long since I've felt like I wanted to do a video, or that I wanted to do art. I've really been struggling personally with kind of getting out of my own art block. I will say I did also really cop out on the hands here, but I don't care. I hate doing hands, and I'm like, whatever. I could have definitely done more, but I just didn't want to. So I didn't. And I wanted to make sure I got the video up in time. But yeah, I just really enjoyed doing this. And I really enjoyed drawing the little girls. I love drawing cute girls. Really, that's just it. So, thank you again to the person who suggested this. I really did. I really loved every minute of it. I really, really did. And it's been a while since I have. So, thank you. I really appreciate it. But yeah, that's pretty much all my tips. I mean, I guess, I would say layers are your friend for sure. I do merge a lot more than I probably should, a lot more than most people, I think, would or like to see. But it is what it is. I'm not big on layers. I do find it's easier if you have layers for sure, especially when it comes to shading some of the things and things like that. But really, I think at the end of it, depending on what style you're wanting to go for, if you're just looking for a flat kind of style, then it's fairly easy. You want to keep the colors that you have together like next to each other quite different. That definitely helps. You want to make sure that your shading is like blocky, that kind of thing. But if you're wanting more of a shaded, textured kind of style, more like mine, then I'd say really like you just want to build up and continue to build up. I also just think, bonus tip, I guess, don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to try new things, change the colors, change the style, do whatever you want to do, because at the end of the day, it's your art. And I mean, it's just art. It's not like, it's not a huge deal if you mess something up. It's not a big deal if something doesn't quite go right. At the end of the day, if you do something and you're like, oh, I hated that, you just found out something that you don't like. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you need to figure out what you don't like in the world of art to know whether or not you're heading in the right direction, right? So that would probably be my last one. It's just don't be afraid to experiment and don't be afraid to try new things and kind of go that route as well. I definitely did that with my own art and it definitely helped. I think in a lot of ways, I just, yeah, I got here just by playing around and trying new things, and I really like where it's going. And you can see even as I build up, especially on that lightest pink, it's so light that it just, even itself, it just wasn't enough. So like, and then in the really dark spots and stuff, it really needs that kind of extra stuff. So it's nice to see it all come together in the end for sure. And it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. And it's been so long since I've drawn just a really cute little coquette girl or just a cute girl in general. I love drawing them, but I just don't very often. And I had a lot of fun. I don't know, maybe this will be what my channel is now. I just draw a bunch of girls. A bunch of cute girls. Nothing wrong with that. And yeah, I don't know if anyone would be interested, but I did ask my PR team with the Pinkee planning that my friend Tash and I do together. If anyone's interested in that, I'll put the link down below because essentially you can get my art as digital stickers and Tash's art as digital stickers, and then we also do packs together. I do the line art, she colors. And then, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff anyway, so I can put that link in the comment section below. But I did ask the girls there, and they said they would be interested in these as stickers. So let me know if you think these would be cute stickers or if that's something that you would like to see. I can definitely get working on that for sure. I got all the time in the world. Not really, I have no time at all. There's lots to be done, but I'm enjoying every second of it, and that's the main thing, especially right now, considering how much I have not been enjoying a lot of stuff. So I'm really glad that I did this and it brought me joy. It's been very long since that's happened. So yeah, I really appreciate it. That's pretty much it. I don't know of anything else I can say. I will say I planned on doing so when I do videos for my YouTube channel, there's a lot of times where I kind of have to just stop. Like there just comes a point where I just have to stop or I just have to push forward. when it came to this sketch, that was kind of one of those things I had to just push forward on. I just didn't like the placement of the arms, and I still don't really, but they were better than what they were, which is probably also why I gave up on hands. Actually, I didn't even start on hands, let's be honest here. It got to the point where I was just like, no, I can't do hands. But that's really the only thing I don't like is the placement of the arms and the hands in general, because I did plan on putting them behind, and then I didn't, so I'm like, maybe I should have. I don't know. But yeah, I think it turned out really good. I probably could have continued on. I really could have. I could have shaded those beads more. Like, well, I meant for them to be pearls. That was the plan. I don't know what it is about pearls lately, but I love pearls. So there's always little things that I think, I could have done this better, I could have done that better, I could have added more to this, I could have added more to that. And yeah, I mean, you can see as you watch, it builds up and it gets better and better, or at least I think it does. I don't know, maybe it doesn't. But there's always kind of, but unfortunately, whenever I'm doing art for YouTube, there's a certain point where I have to be like, okay, Pink, you gotta kind of get everything done, including editing and getting it online and all that stuff. So maybe stop being picky over the placement of the arms and just get it done, I guess, is really kind of what that boils down to. But now I kind of really wish I would have done those pearls a little better and a different color. Anyway, that's just me. But that's pretty much it. That's all I got for you guys. I hope that you enjoyed that and you got some tips that were worthwhile there. And if you did, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys next week with another video. If you have any ideas for what you'd like to see, please do let me know. Otherwise, it's probably going to be another cute girl video because I really just want to film another one. So, maybe. I also, just because filming it doesn't really do it justice, you can see the image on my Instagram, and I also just kind of pop it up here at the end so that you can see without the camera on my iPhone, if that makes sense. So you can see the end product there as well. And yeah, I'm going to leave you here, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Have yourselves a great day. I appreciate every single one of you. Love yous all. I will see you in the next one. Bye.